This video is dedicated to my dear friend Linda Johnson, who just passed about a week ago under these eclipses. Linda Johnson was one of the most inspirational members of the very closed circuit family of evolutionary astrologers. It is thanks to her work and dedication that evolutionary astrology is available to the masses through so many books, magazines, and internet publications. Linda Johnson will forever inspire us to remain in our integrity, to be searching for the truth and pressing ever onward. This video is also a tribute to the times we are living under a profoundly progressive solar eclipse in Gemini coming up this week. Now, my aim is to speak to the deepest undercurrent of the symbolic nature and meaning of these times. Other astrologers can tell you when to do your laundry or plan your bridge party. I speak to the essence, and you are invited to do with that what you will. Okay, this one's a bit more occult. Not all eclipses are equal. This is a big step into the future. A north nodal solar eclipse along the planetary nodes of Uranus. This is like time travel. Some of the most important times we're living now, seed sowing a new beginning for the future, especially under this solar eclipse. We'll discuss how to harness and use this very, very opportune time for creativity and innovation. Now we aim our compasses towards the goddess of wisdom, Sophia. Now, Mercury is retrograde in his superior conjunction with the sun under this solar eclipse. This is the most indicative sign that we can really dive deep into the nature, the function of Mercury. During Mercury's superior conjunction, Mercury is at his strongest. It is also a seed sowing time for a new Mercury cycle. Okay. Now, a lot of stereotypical Mercury retrograde talk out there, okay? Now, that's a part of this time, reconnecting wires, changing how we communicate, connect, network, think, travel. Mercury retrograde, we meet old friends, old times, comes up for review, old memories. And this is a part of the evolutionary intention to change things around. Mercury also rules multiplicity, so sometimes we have to try something more than once in this overall function of rewiring and re-networking. So there's a lot of horror stories said about Mercury retrograde. Don't travel, don't connect. It's important to just remain flexible and experimental while we reconnect, re-network, and rewire, especially along the lines of communication, networking, friends, and siblings, all things Mercury and Gemini. Now, what I like to talk about, what's the deeper nature and meaning of Mercury retrograde? Mercury retrograde is all about finding truth, the true interests of our unique soul, knowing our voice, knowing our mind, and being capable, therefore, of connecting with like minds, those who are on a similar wavelength as ourselves, those who appreciate similar things as ourselves, similar interests, similar focus points. That's something we really, really get to sow a seed for, establish, and create under this new moon solar eclipse. Now, how Mercury retrograde does this is through a reductionist process. So to discover what is relevant, highlight, underline, relevancy, the areas, the subjects, the topics, relevant to our soul. That's what Mercury retrograde is all about. No, it's not just, hey, the printer's going to go wrong. It's the time to discover what's most relevant to our soul. And through a reductionist process, eliminating the ideas, the interests, the distractions that gets in the way with our deeper soul's passions. It's like turning the television channel during the commercials. You know, we've got other things to focus on. There are many things that we can be bringing into our life that was previously on the back burner. Hobbies, subjects, ideas, careers that we didn't end up making our career. We can bring these parts in. Now, this particular solar eclipse in Gemini, again, joined with Mercury retrograde in his superior conjunction, has largely a two-part function. Number one, we can be doing more. Gemini is multiplicity, duplicity, it's juggling. We have different facets of ourself. Every human being has multiple personalities. Certainly astrologers study this when we look at all these different planetary functions that make up ourself. Gemini is the reality that we are all composite beings. And guess what? Not all of the parts of ourself agree in a perfect uniform, like we're all one singular plane and we're all one blob doing one thing. No, we've got diverse parts of ourself, and there's an opportunity to be honoring the full diversity of ourself. We can be doing more, connecting more, meeting more people, tackling more subjects, learning more, going into more fields of education, study, and certainly we're doing this in our life curriculum, each and every one of us at this time. So number one, we can be doing more, sowing a seed intention under the solar eclipse. And number two, we can be doing more of what's truly relevant. We need people on a similar wavelength to ourselves, so that way we are not constantly scattered, distracted, and thrown all over the place. Similarly, inwardly, though we may have these scattered and diverse parts of ourself, how can we integrate them into some type of cohesive whole? That doesn't mean that every part of ourself looks the same or behaves the same. It means that we have created a life that allows for our wholeness and for our fullness. So we can be doing more to honor the diversity of ourselves, the diversity of life. There's lots of different people out there in the world. We're going to be making new friends and connections in the months to come, and this can give us more priority with what it is that we are particularly interested in learning, what it is that we are particularly interested in doing, sharing, and teaching. This is our new moon. Now, Gemini, that I am. Not a well-appreciated sign, I would say, in our contemporary belief systems. This is kind of an objective fact, okay? Gemini is gnosis, knowledge. Just quickly, when we think of our mainstream religions, are we encouraged to ask questions, really understand how things work, really be in that curious intellectual phase of mind? That has not been my experience so far. Now, Gnosis is interested in one thing, and that is truth. Not just Sagittarius is truth. Gemini and Sagittarius is concerned with truth, this polarity, in fact, the mutable signs, but especially the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity is concerned with truth. Now, I have heard some contemporary idiots say Sagittarius is truth. Gemini, the sign opposite of Sagittarius, is not truth. Mercury is deception. Mercury is the mind. The mind is not true. Yeah, right. Hermes, Hermes Trismegistus, Thoth, the gods of learning and wisdom, not truth? Interesting idea. I think not. See, Gemini is not only interested in knowing, but knowing things thoroughly, through and through. That's the specific nature of Gemini as opposed to Sagittarius. Gemini wants to know how it all works, how it all functions. Mercury and Gemini breaks apart the computer to know all of the different parts of the computer, to rebuild the computer and understand how it all works together. That's the function of Mercury. It's a dissecting, breaking apart, labeling, so to understand, so to get towards truth, not away from truth. What a stupid idea. We all need this function. The more learned we are, the better we can survive, the better we can take care of others. Please, dear followers, no more of this head versus the heart comparison and bullshit. Yes, I understand the point. We all understand the point. But these belief systems and platitudes can be just like shooting ourselves in the foot. So no more you either think or you love. It's fucking bullshit. It's stupid. It's moronic. It's disempowering. It's not helping us to love more. All of these platitudes do is demonize intelligence. It prejudices people like me. I cannot even begin to express all of the evil that has been put onto me for being an intellectual, discerning, and thinking critically. It's like people in the world think this is some kind of immoral wrongdoing or something like this. The gnosis, the wisdom, is that this Garden of Eden, love and paradise that is without knowledge, without critical thinking, and without discernment, it's a deception. It isn't real. It's fake. It's not real love. It's not real support if it's biased against the truth, intelligence, and actual knowledge. Yes, we can know. We can know so much more than what people have assumed and believed we can know. Yes, you can know those things. Yes, you can learn and study what's most especially relevant to you, your life, your experience, your unfolding. That's where this solar eclipse is taking us. That's where the compass is pointed now. Let us honor Mercury in Mercury's time. Allow yourself to learn, grow, evolve through an intelligence, because you can, and you can know. Some people say you can't know it all. I say these people are simply those that don't want to know it all. You can know a heck of a lot more than what is assumed, which is honesty. But not many people today, I think, honestly want to know. You can know the deepest and most mysterious aspects of life. Yes, you can. That is the Gnostic tradition and path. That means you have that knowledge. Knowledge is something that we hold. It's something that we have. It becomes a part of us, but it is a holding. It is a held knowledge when we test and fact check to make sure that facts are always true. Then that working knowledge becomes a part of us. So we're all becoming fact checkers, students. Our curiosity is leading us. We can be asking so many questions at this time, and I would think that this is the perfect time to be having more value in unanswered questions than necessarily having to have the answer to every question. See, we get to knowledge by knowing what we know via what we've fact checked. We have to bounce our ideas off of others too. What is true is not just true in our imagination. What is true for others as well. So we're fact checking, we're receiving feedback, we're bouncing ideas back and forth. And that's how we gain this knowledge that becomes a part of our alphabet, that becomes a part of our reality. But this discernment also means, hey, these are the facts that are still fuzzy. These are the facts that we don't know, that we don't have figured out, that we don't have completed. And that's where we aim our compass towards now, because that's where the learning, the investigation, the goddess Sophia is led by curiosity. She is the goddess of light who is exploring the entire creation in order to bring that light of understanding to all places. So there's value in the unanswered questions. Let's explore here. Let's bring the light over here. We've had so many assumptions, so many biases, so many one-size-fits-all, black and white prescriptions coming from our culture, our religion, our family, our tradition, our background. And those things are limiting. Those things kill off our capacity to love and support others, such as the belief that knowledge and the mind is in the way of our heart and our loving. I would say put that one to the check. Fact check that one for me. Get back to me. I mean, this is a wonderful time for debate. Everybody has their own opinions. We need to have spaces to actually debate, right? This is a long lost thing. I've mentioned this the whole time. The North Node's been in Gemini. It's like, look at our presidential elections. We don't know how to debate. So we have to create a space where it's like, hey, intelligence checks itself out. That's what the Greeks were renowned for. We want to make mistakes. We want to be proven wrong if we actually care about life reality, learning, and improvement, therefore being able to better ourselves and others. Let's explore the function of Mercury and Gemini together. Must be a Gemini time. I'm a little speedy. Now, Mercury, the function of Mercury breaks apart our surrounding environments into bits and pieces of information so to comprehend our reality. Tree, bush, ground, sky. Now we have a relationship to that environment which is surrounding us, and now we can maneuver through our environment. So Mercury understands what is this world by breaking apart, chunking, and then labeling all of the different pieces, all of the different elements. This is so we can experiment and then discover how all of these parts relate together. Stick a seed in the earth, apply some sunshine and water, and we have a plant that comes up. A plus B equals C. Gemini is this left brain formulaic if-then statements. This is actually how all computers work. Binary language is if-then statements. If this, then that. And this is also computers being a reflection of the human brain, the human mind. This is how everything functions. So this is like the magician's apothecary, you know, there's all of these different elements and potions and medicines and herbs, and each formula, each essence, each ingredient has its place. We understand how they interact together, how they should be combined, or the things to avoid combination. This is formulaic Gemini Mercury reality. Okay, so again, let's move beyond our biases. This division, therefore separation, therefore chunking and labeling is not evil. It's not separate from love, God, or the rest of the universe. It's to comprehend love, God, and the rest of the universe. Like all individual parts and functions, however, it can present challenges, of course. Because suddenly life is not all one singular blob, dimension, or plane. There is the sky, there is the earth. With our mercurial mind, we can discern good from evil, pleasure from heartbreak. It's not all the same. So Gemini, drum roll please, Gemini reality, we must respond to different circumstances differently. Gemini reality, it is circumstantial. What appears on the surface as something is not necessarily what it is beneath the surface. Something in one environment or situation may mean something entirely different and in a different environment or situation. Something that appears wrong or harmful in the right situation or context may be the necessary medicine. Any poison has its medicinal values once those values are discovered. Similarly, every single chunk, part, and facet of life can be used in not a one-size-fits-all way. There's diverse applications for the diverse parts of life. So we must respond to different circumstances in different ways as Gemini reality. That's why we have to have a mind and discernment. So to understand the reality we're in, things change. We need to Gemini, stay up to date. I'm a stereotypical Gemini. I just got a new computer under this Mercury retrograde, but Gemini likes gadgets. What's new? What's up to date? What's the current news? What's the current conversation? Truth is, the New Age movement is stuck in the Dark Age and doesn't know it. It is loving to teach people nothing actually useful or applicable. I don't personally think so. My intelligence has been projected upon as unloving due to a constant frustration of watching my friends and family suffer in ignorance and aimlessness. But that frustration comes from passion. It comes from my love and my caring of people stuck in these situations they don't have to be stuck in. I want to see more passionate souls in the world. That means loving and learn it. That's passion. Passion is anger and frustration that recognizes the injustices or the bullshit in a certain situation combined with love. Passionate souls are those that can discern the truth. Now here's Gemini reality. Truth is a double-edged sword. You want to bless someone with abundance? Where does that abundance come from? Is not another person's loss another person's gain? You want to curse someone? Isn't a curse just another blessing in disguise? This is truth. Energy is created and cannot be destroyed. It can simply be changed. This is where the magic of polarity is the gift of the magician. We're looking at the same thing from multiple angles and then swinging back and forth along a pole in order to make adjustments. But are these adjustments put in some type of moralistic, this is the right way, this is the wrong way? That's not necessarily how life is. The magician is interested in two basic points. Where are we starting? That's point number one. What are we working with? That's point number one. What are those ingredients? What are the raw materials that we're working with? That's where we're starting with, point number one. And then, in Gemini dual fashion, the magician is interested in point number two. Where do we want to get to? How does that look? What are the details? Those are the 2 points. Where are we now? What are we working with? Where do we want to get to? What does that look like? It's really not so moralistic. What things look like on the surface is not what they actually are. And this is the magician path. This is the left-hand path. Everything is not what it appears. This is why this is also the path that has traditionally been demonized. Truth is, it's not a one-size-fits-all reality. That's Gemini. No, it's not an illusion that there are differences. How we are going to use this solar eclipse is to connect with like minds. Because it is more useful to understand, I think, especially right now, Gemini reality, how people are different. And not in a put-down way or necessarily a better or lower type of way. It's just an acknowledgement of reality. People are different. People live in very, very different realities based off of what they orient towards is their truth. This year is cult reality. It's like we all have the free will and the option to change the dial on the radio or the television set to any channel we wish to choose. What do you want your reality to be? I can pretty much guarantee you that there is already some cult, platform, organization that is creating content specifically for you. So the question is, what channel do you want to be on? What is the purpose of your life? What are you uniquely interested in? Because that's what's going to connect you with like minds. Does it work? Is it what we say it is? That's what we're looking at here. It's not an illusion that both truth and deception exists. It's not an illusion that truth and non-truth exists. The great truth and the great lie both exist. They are valid realities in their own way. What does it mean? That's what we get to discover. Reality of paradox is Gemini realm. It's not that paradox contradicts. It's that paradox exists in truth. Gemini is the mythos of Cain and Abel. This is the mythos of humanity. We are all descendants of Cain and Abel. Good and evil exists in potential within all people. If you have not identified your unique, special capability, road, and gift for evil, I'll take out gift there. If you have not identified your unique and special roadway to evil, you will be it unconsciously. You'll consider yourself a savior while torturing innocent souls, like how we just got this lunar eclipse a week ago and all this information was revealed about the Roman Catholic Church. If you listen back to that last video I did, all about collective trauma, religious belief, and history, yeah, here we go. So, we have to identify good and evil with ourselves. But if we can accept that this is our nature, that the propensity, the potential for good and evil exists within the heart of every single soul, human being, then we will recognize that we have freedom. That's what this means, this reality. We have the freedom and ability to choose. That's what it means to have the potential of good and evil in our hearts. We are given free will to choose. Personally, I do not want you to be only good. for that would be dishonest. We have to recognize at least the propensity and the potential within ourselves. We have to know that we are not only good, to be honest. But what I want you to know, as opposed to you only being good, a false deception, you are free. You can free yourself from the deception of false limitation. And if we do liberate ourselves from false limitation, if we actualize our freedom and give ourselves the capability to choose, to go after where our soul is leading us, we will find that goodness is our automatic essence. Yet as this channel has become more occult and Gnostic due to my own natural progression, it has lost popularity, which is both telling and appropriate, because truth is, people do not want to know. Knowledge is power. Power comes with a burden of responsibility. This is why knowledge is avoided by and large. I see it all the time. But make no mistake, you can know. You can know without losing your heart, though you may lose your fake love or misunderstanding of truth, of love, along the way. Mercury, in his superior conjunction to the sun, under a solar eclipse in Gemini, we are now sowing a seed for what we can know, what we can learn, teach, network. It's meaningful. We need this to fill us up. Jupiter square the moon's nodes under these eclipses. We have to form a connection that gives us a sense of meaning by being connected to something bigger than just ourselves. It's connected to the human soul. It's connected to the world soul. It's connected to bringing love, compassion, and justice to this world out of whack and out of balance. It also works. It checks out with reality. It's not merely talking about or daydreaming or fantasizing how we could be living in the future. It is actively making it happen, and it's scheduled, it's understood. We understand the ingredients, how much we're working with, how much energy we can apply at what times with what people to make this all go. It works. It works with other people, not just in our world, in our imagination. It is fact-checked. We've received the feedback of others. And even if we need to make some alterations due to circumstance, that's the flexibility that we need. We need to meet diverse people who have different backgrounds, who speak different languages, because that's where we're fact-checking. That's how we're getting nearer to actual, authentic truth. We can all be juggling, doing, interconnecting more. Mercury is the telephone operator god. We're doing this experiment of different people, different places, different faces at different times. So to meet this creative need and this need for expansion in our own life, we can be bridging these different dimensions together to honor the diverse needs and parts of ourself. Gemini is the wisdom of polarity. All things are dual in nature. Whether it be our mind through the discerning faculty, we separate light from shadow, we separate form from formlessness to define anything. Our senses perceive reality through the difference between hot and cold, light and shadow. We experience life through an experience of duality. This is nature. This is inherent in nature. And when we are understanding nature, this is the reality that we come to understand. In fact, the best way to understand anything, such as temperature, is through a comparing and a contrasting. Through comparing very cold to very hot, we're going to have a much better understanding of what temperature is. We need the duality, the comparison and contrast to understand anything in its total depth, how it can be working and relating to the other parts of reality. Now, in this vein, I am very excited to be announcing a new future workshop. The The Light and Shadow of Every Zodiac Sign Polarity Mastery Workshop. Something along those lines. I'm going to be teaching this workshop on the summer solstice. This is June 21st, just about a week and a half from now. This coincides with Mercury stationing direct and Jupiter stationing retrograde. These are the rulers of the moon's nodes stationing on the summer solstice. It's an excellent time for us all to become magicians, to be understanding reality through duality. And the best way to understand the zodiac is through the comparison of duality. Gemini is opposite to Sagittarius in the same way that light's opposite to shadow and form is opposite to formlessness. So in this workshop, you're going to be getting a deeper, more intimate, more articulate understanding of the zodiac that you're going to take with you into every experience of your life. Because astrology is not just predicting the future or knowing when to do your laundry on what days. Astrology is understanding the nature that is surrounding us and how all of the different rawest elements. The zodiac signs are the most fundamental energies in life. If you can understand the nature of the zodiac, you can understand the nature of anything, how it works and how it relates to the whole. So I'm very, very excited to be teaching this polarity workshop at the most appropriate time. I am wishing, as always, absolutely all the best to yourself as we quickly and speedily reinvent our life, our world, and journey into the future. And much love as well.